All right, what's up, everyone? This is basically a UFC 281 aftermath live discussion, live chat, live stream, whatever you want to call it. And basically, here to just talk about UFC 281 and what just happened after another incredible UFC pay per view, of course. Um, Other than that, focal point of this live stream is going to be the UFC division and the UFC's lightweight division after two incredible fights at UFC 281 at Madison Square Garden, of course. Israel Adesanya surprisingly, shockingly rather, lost the UFC middleweight championship. Whereas on the other hand, you had Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler put in an incredible fight. What an incredible fight between the two men. So basically, here to discuss what's next for all these fighters and chat about UFC stuff. Like if I'm gonna do this, why not just do daily live stream? You know what I mean. Like it'll help my channel as well. I can go live for like 1 hour every day, and yeah, it's a win-win. All right, just a second. This looks all right. This should be fine. So, UFC 281. Let's just Google that quickly. UFC 281. What an incredible pay-per-view, man. The UFC's been killing it lately with the pay-per-views, honestly. Very solid fight cards, very solid pay-per-views in general. Like all the fights, most of the fights have delivered from UFC 281. UFC 280 was incredible as well. Prelims for UFC 280 were quite like the fights were quite good on paper, but yeah, it didn't really deliver to be honest. But yeah, the main card lived up to the expectations. So anyway, let's pull up UFC 281. Let's go to the results for a minute. Let's see what do we have. Obviously, Israel Adesanya surprisingly lost the UFC's middleweight championship in the final round of his fight to the new champion Alex Pereira, hailing from Brazil. In the co-main event, man, incredible fight from Zhang Weili. What a performance she put! Like people had their money on Zhang Weili, put their money on Zhang Weili to win back the championship, and she looked insane on the night. She looked really good. Carla Esparza, two-time champion. Like I sort of hate how people are like trolling Carla. Like it just yes. She already received enough hatred leading up to the fight, leading up during the fight week. Like her own people were literally booing her, so just cut her some slack. Anyway, let's go to UFC 281 results. All right, here we have it. Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira, of course. Fifth round finish from Pereira, TKO. 2 minutes and 1 second, 2 minutes 1 second into the fifth round, Alex Pereira gets the surprise TKO out of nowhere. Like I did a full reaction video of it, instant reaction of it. If you guys could like, if you guys want to watch my reaction, want to watch my take on what the entire fight was, you could just go ahead and watch that video. But anyway, like Israel Adesanya, man, like this has happened to him for the second time now, like where he has lost a fight to the same man, Alex Pereira, who previously beat him in another sport, kickboxing. Mm. Beat him after getting, Pereira was getting dominated for the majority of that fight. Everyone knows it by now. And eventually he caught him with a good left hook, I believe, which knocked out Izzy, or like an uppercut. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, all we know is like the fight that happened at UFC 281, the fight that happened at the Madison Square Garden was pretty much the same, ended in the same fashion as it did back then when they fought in kickboxing. So unlucky. Israel Adesanya was unlucky, safe to say. And Izzy pretty much dominated the majority of the fight. He had Pereira good in the first half. Or I just said first half. He had Pereira good in the first round. Um, did quite well with his striking. Caught him with a good right hand and a sort of a delayed left hand at the end of the first round, which I think happened. Just tough to call, but yeah, I just feel that the ending of the first round sort of like there was an unnecessary shot from Izzy in there. The final shot that he landed, I think it just happened after the buzzer, slightly after the buzzer. But yeah, he had Alex Pereira rattled for a minute, for a second in the closing stages of the first round. On the other hand, second round, of course, I think went in favor of Alex because he sort of not exactly dominated. Like he took absorbed a few good strikes from Izzy as well, but he got that one takedown which made the difference in the second round. Is there any other stats that we can find? Let's see. Um, Full fight. All right. So here we have it. Yeah, let's quickly get this out of the way. So second round, Alex Pereira got that one takedown, which I think won him the second round. And third round, Izzy once again dominant with his striking, and yeah, he got a one takedown. Like Israel Adesanya got one takedown in the third round, which was like his first ever takedown in the UFC. So he literally tripped Alex Pereira, which after that both of them like scrambled on the mat for a minute, on the ground for a minute, and Pereira got really, really tired after the third round, and that is where I think the fight sort of shifted balance in favor of Israel Adesanya. I think he had it in the bag from there onwards, but somehow he just went on to fumble it. Yeah, he just fumbled the fight, having secured a great third round where Izzy like dominated Pereira on the mat. Like you don't generally see grappling from Israel Adesanya. He has incredible takedown defense, but uh, I haven't like not. It just isn't me. Like most of us haven't exactly seen grappling and sticks from Israel Adesanya in the past. Like even when he fought Jan Blachowicz, he was completely dominated by Jan on the mat. So is he going into grappler mode? He knows that that was the right decision because obviously Alex Pereira is coming from a kickboxing background. He is in the best of grapplers. He did, or rather he is training with Glover Teixeira, but yeah, that just doesn't help his case, to be honest. Anyway, third round, Israel Adesanya scrambled with Pereira on the ground. One takedown, of course. Significant strikes. 14 landed in the third round compared to Pereira's 8. Second round is what I'm going to look at in a minute. But yeah, after the third round, Alex Pereira was like really, really tired. He got really tired, and he wasn't just like it. Just honestly, when he was talking to his corner, when he was sitting in his stool, talking to his corner, it just felt that Pereira is done. Honestly, it just felt to me that Pereira was done in that fight because he was not looking very confident. Let's just say that. He was not looking very confident. He had a few bruises already in his face. He took a few good shots to the face from Adesanya, and he was just not looking very confident by that point. After the third round, though, like I honestly thought, like fourth round, Izzy might go for the kill. He might go for the finish, but yeah, it was pretty much the same of what we saw from Izzy. Um, yeah, it was pretty much the same of what we saw from Izzy in the first round. Yeah, pretty much the same, even though there were more. No, hold on a minute. Yeah, even though pretty much the same because Alex Pereira had more of the strikes, got more strikes, connected more strikes, landed more strikes in the fourth round as well. He had 30 strikes, total strikes compared to Izzy's 26. Significant strikes, 15 from Pereira compared to Izzy's 20. So yeah, but I just felt like Izzy could have finished this fight in the fourth round, I just had a feeling like he might go for the kill now because Pereira was really tired by that point. And if you had seen the usual flashy version of Israel Adesanya that we, were so used to seeing in the past, like against the likes of Paulo Costa or Kelvin Gastelum, like just all out wars, man. Like this wasn't exactly a war, to be honest. This felt more of a one-sided fight up until fifth round, the finish, you could say. Hold on a second. But yeah, as I was saying, like this fight didn't exactly feel like an proper brawl, proper war, whatever you want to call it, because Adesanya is. We have seen him compete in some gruesome fights throughout the years, like against the likes of what's his name, Kelvin Gastelum. Yeah, just went blank for a minute. Even the likes of Kelvin Gastelum, even the likes of Brad Tavares, Paulo Costa. Like even though that Paulo Costa fight lasted just 2 rounds, Adesanya looked really solid in my opinion. So anyway, like. Yeah. For Izzy to not go for the kill in the fourth round, I think that was sort of a stupid decision because I think he could have done more, a lot more in the fourth round. Um, I think he could have easily prevented going into the fifth, which obviously led to him getting knocked out, like getting finished rather. Um, yeah, like I don't know, man. Like it just feels like Israel Adesanya has lost his killer instinct. It just feels that way, honestly, because we haven't seen that killer instinct, that X factor about Izzy. Because Izzy, when he just broke into the UFC, when he just first was starting to go viral, went mainstream after his fights against Anderson Silva, Kelvin Gastelum, he was all about this flashy striking. He was literally all about the flashy striking, his quick moves, his quick jabbing, everything else. He was just like a pure one of the best strikers we had seen in ages since like Anderson Silva in his prime. It's just as simple as that. But yeah, it just felt like that Izzy sort of has lost his X factor in recent fights in recent years because it's all started with the fight against. Let's just check Israel Adesanya. Let's just go to his fights. Of course, had the fight against Jared Cannonier. Yup, it pretty much started after the fight against Blahovic. Honestly, Blahovic Adesanya fight was one-sided. I think Blahovic won quite nicely. He did what he had to do. When there, he was more stronger. He was more powerful. He used his strength to his grappling and slash, yeah, grappling wrestling advantage. Took Izzy down, kept him down, and won the fight quite com- comprehensively. But yeah, I just think it started Izzy's, so-called downfall started from the Marvin Vittori fight. I just think because from there onwards, we haven't exactly seen the flashy, stylish, striking version of Israel Adesanya like we are so used to seeing prior to that. Even against Paulo Costa, he was looking good. Yoel Romero fight, of course, he was not exactly. He retrieved a lot. He wasn't fully, going forward. Wasn't exactly committed to engage in striking battles with Yoel because he knew that there was a fear of him possibly getting finished by someone who is much more, stronger, powerful, has explosive power in his hands. So, I mean, other than that, look at Adesanya's record, man. Like he knocked out Whitaker with ease in 2019 when they fought round two finish. Gastelum versus Adesanya, hands down, Adesanya's best performance inside the UFC. Anderson Silva, Adesanya, like that fight was not a like proper war. Like not many striking exchanges, nothing like that. But nonetheless, that fight was really iconic in my opinion. Anderson Silva versus Israel Adesanya, because there was like two generational fighters finally crossing paths, like an anime battle. Even though I don't really watch anime, but yeah, you get my point. Yeah. Anyway, what else? Paulo Costa fight, of course. Israel Adesanya looked like in his best form against Paulo Costa. That was the fight that he looked absolutely like the goat of the middleweight division, hands down. Because there was the same narrative, like will Izzy engage in a striking battle with someone who is much more powerful, who had the knockout power, who had the explosiveness in his striking in the form of Paulo Costa, because Paulo Costa is a He's a beast, man. He's got mad power. But yeah, Izzy just went there, used his kicks to destroy Paulo's legs. I mean, he just destroyed Costa's legs in the first round and eventually got the finish and even humped him in the second round. But yeah, it started from the Marvin Vittori fight rematch, as I was saying. Like Israel Adesanya knew that there was a danger of him getting taken down by Marvin, and Marvin was obviously looking to utilize more of his wrestling because he's much more of a wrestler, grappler compared to like his striking. But yeah, Adesanya simply just couldn't show his flashy version of his striking against Marvin Vittori. That's what happened. Just give me a second. All right. Just get to that in a minute. Just get to that point. Mm. Just give me a second before we continue. All right, this should be okay, I guess. All right. Just trying to change a little bit of the thumbnail. Um, yeah, this should be fine. Just give me a second. All right, that should be fine. That should be better, I think. All right, let's continue. Let's continue with the discussion with the Israel Adesanya situation. As I was saying, Israel Adesanya, I think his style of fighting sort of toned down after um, the Marvin Vittori fight, starting from the Marvin Vittori fight, because Izzy always knew that there was a danger of Vittori sort of using his wrestling and his grappling to his advantage, which would be beneficial for Vittori, of course, against a high level striker like Izzy. And he went out there, tried his best to take down Israel Adesanya, but Adesanya is just in that fight he showed really high level and like proved to the world what he is actually capable of in terms of his takedown defense. Because that was the fight where I actually learned that Israel Adesanya has insane takedown defense. Marvin Vettori struggled throughout the entire fight to take Izzy down, and he just couldn't. He just couldn't do anything. He just couldn't utilize his grappling. He just couldn't utilize his wrestling. Couldn't take him down. Um, Matter of fact, let's just try and. Oh, never mind. Anyway, after that we had the Robert Whittaker rematch, which was pretty much the same once again. Like Izzy played it safe, nothing major from him, nothing significant, no significant moments, rather I should say, in that fight from either of the fighters. Whittaker did well as well, um, but yeah, I think Izzy did enough to win the fight eventually. He did enough, yeah, because more volume striking from Izzy, and honestly, sometimes you have to go with the champion in these sort of situations, and that's what happened. I think the right man won. Same situation, much like the Marvin Vittori fight in that fight as well. The Jared Cannonier fight, man, what a waste, to be honest. I was expecting so much more from that fight. That is like the one fight out of these three fights from Izzy's latest UFC run that I feel had the potential to be a banger. Let's just put the Whitaker fight aside. I think the Whitaker fight was more of a technical fight. It was more of chess match rather. It's more technical, and both fighters went out there, showed their technical styles. Nothing explosive, nothing too. mm, What can I say? Nothing too. Not taking enough risks in their fighters, and eventually, um, Izzy won. But the Jared Cannonier fight, man, like it was pretty much the same situation like the UL Romero fight, because hold on, I'll just try and quickly add these hashtags in the description box in case uh, these make any difference to the viewership. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. All right. Okay, as I was saying, yeah, as I was saying, where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Yeah, as I was saying, like the Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier fight, right? The Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier fight. Honestly, I just thought that that fight had the most potential to be, out of his latest fight, to be a good fight. But that let me down so much. Like the Marvin Vittori fight, even if I like go back and look at the Marvin Vittori fight and I compare it to the Izzy versus Cannonier fight, I think that Vittori versus Adesanya fight was much more better than what we just saw at between Izzy and Cannonier, because Cannonier, like I believe this was his first title shot, and he was like the only fighter in the middleweight division who hadn't challenged for the middleweight championship, hadn't fought Izzy. So him going out there after a big win over Derek Brunson absolutely shut down Derek Brunson. Like Brunson just went numb in that fight. But yeah, Cannonier coming off some major wins, calling out Izzy after that win over Brunson, getting the fight, and after that, Adesanya just goes out there. I mean, he just pretty much replicates what he did against Yoel Romero a few years ago. So just a letdown from him, to be honest. It was just, yeah, complete waste of a fight, in my opinion. Then we had, of course, Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. Getting back to that fight, pulling up the stats now. Round one, we had Adesanya a total of 23 strikes compared to Alex Pereira's 28 strikes. I mean, as you can see, Pereira did do more damage, but significant strikes were equal, 23 to 23. Nothing major, but yeah, I think Adesanya won first round. But yeah, if you like look at the highlights of the fight, if you just go back and watch Pereira versus Adesanya once again, you'll see, like, if you watch the replays carefully, you'll see like Pereira landing more of the major strikes in that fight compared to what Izzy did. Like Pereira had more of the major connections, more of the major hits um, in that round one. Round two, of course, as I said, Pereira won. I think once again he outstruck Izzy, had that one takedown as well, which was impressive. Izzy, I think, attempted two takedowns in that fight. He landed a total of 30 strikes, 56%, and compared to Pereira's 33, 61%. 20 significant strikes though from Adesanya compared to Pereira's 17. But yeah, that second round I think is should be in favor of Pereira because he got that one takedown. So yeah, it's pretty much 1-1 heading into round number three, and I just feel like round number three is where the fight completely changed in favor of Adesanya, but he just couldn't take advantage of it. He just couldn't go out there do what he had to do. I just feel like he could have finished the fight in the fourth round if he did. Like he had the opportunity because Pereira was really, really tired by the end of the third round. Adesanya landed a total of 31 strikes compared to Pereira's 19. 19 strikes from Alex Pereira, just 19. Adesanya keeping up with the pace, 31 strikes. You could see that Pereira sort of like slowed down in the third round because especially after that takedown. After that takedown, that scramble on the ground, Poirier was starting to get tired, and you could like, as I keep on mentioning, like if when he just went and sat in the stool in his corner, you could see that he was really tired. He was gassed out. So yeah, significant strikes. Israel Adesanya 14 compared to Poirier's 8 in the third round. Adesanya clearly winning the third. Fourth round, significant strikes once again. Izzy had 20, Pereira had 15. In which round Izzy almost knocked Alex. Izzy almost knocked first round. That was the first round. In the closing stages, he caught Izzy with the right hand and then caught him with the left hand. But that was right at the buzzer. When he caught him with the right hand, he was sort of wobbling, Alex Pereira, and Izzy. End of round one. Yes, end of round one. And Izzy sort of, I think it was sort of a delayed left hand from Izzy at the end of round one because the buzzer had really went off in my opinion. If you can go back and watch the fight and watch it in like slow mo or anything like that, you could just see like the buzzer just slightly goes off, and then Izzy sort of hits him with the left hand at the end of round one. So I just think like yeah, Izzy could have like had the opportunity to knock him out, knock Pereira out, but yeah, it was too late by the end of the first round. Anyway, moving on, round number four. Yeah, I've spoken about that. Round number five. This round lasted for like 2 minutes before Pereira got the finish. Significant strikes, Pereira 28, of course. He landed like a barrage of strikes at the end of the um, fifth round. Excuse me, by the second minute of the fifth round, he had landed a barrage of strikes. He was going absolutely wild while landing those strikes on Izzy. Total strikes, of course, Pereira 30 compared to Izzy's 9. And yeah, Izzy, I think, made the big mistake of not finishing this fight in the fourth round. I think he was presented with a good opportunity to finish this fight in the fourth round, and he did not. I just think that's what happened because Pereira was really, really tired by the end of the third round. Izzy even used his grappling to his advantage because, of course, Pereira is coming from a kickboxing background. So it's Izzy, but yeah, Izzy has more experience in the UFC, of course, in terms of MMA. Nevertheless, I think Izzy could have won this fight in the fourth round, and he just couldn't take advantage. So yeah, fifth round he paid the price. Of course, Alex Pereira found a good opening, landed a couple of good big shots on Izzy, and yeah, for those who claim that this was an early stoppage, so come on, man. The referees literally, I think it was Goddard, Mark Goddard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Mark Goddard. Mark Goddard literally saved Izzy out there. Like Izzy was on the verge of getting destroyed. He was literally not even defending himself by the end of the fifth round. So yeah, it is what it is. I think it was a fair enough stoppage. Fair stoppage. Um Answering the big questions. Who should Israel Adesanya fight next after uh what are your thoughts on Kamzat versus Alex matchup? Man, I was about to talk about Alex Pereira, but yeah, now that you brought up this question, Kamzat Chimaev did call Alex Pereira out, but I just think that Alex Pereira, probably a bold statement, but I just don't think he's going to be that great of a champion. It's, it's a bold statement, but yeah, I just think it is what it is because let's be honest, he struggled against Izzy for 4 rounds. It is the truth. He struggled in not 4 rounds. I should say 3 rounds. Round two he did well, but yeah, he was tired after the third round. And given the intense grappling and wrestling Khamzat Chimaev has, I think Pereira could be in for big problems if they ever fought. Like he was taken down by Israel Adesanya, who never even used his grappling in the UFC. He was taken down by him, and you see what happened after at the end of the third round. So could you imagine what would Khamzat Chimaev do with his grappling, with his wrestling to Alex Pereira? So I just think it's a bad matchup for Alex. Excuse me, yeah, Alex, right? Yeah, as I was saying, what's next for Israel Adesanya? I think it's a bit of a tough one, isn't it? Because I really want to say that Israel Adesanya should fight Alex Pereira once again. He should get the immediate rematch because he has been like the middleweight champion for like how many years now? 3 years. Uh, the Castellum Adesanya fight was for the interim belt, and then the undisputed championship belt was against Whitaker in 2019. So yeah, 3 years Israel Adesanya has been the middleweight champion for. So I think it's fair that he deserves title shot next. I think it's a fair decision. Sarvana Kolnar, do you want to be a moderator on this channel? If you're still watching, let me know. Just don't ban people. Anyway, let's move on with the potential matchups for Israel Adesanya. I think there are two big middleweight fights coming up, as far as I know. Let's just pull up this. Wait, hold up. What are the two big matchups? I can't remember. One is Jared Cannonier versus. Is Jared Cannonier fighting someone next? I just can't remember. He's fighting Sean Strickland, is he? There are two big middleweight matchups coming up. That's all I can remember right now. I just can't remember the matchups. Yeah, right. So Jared Cannonier is gonna fight Sean Strickland UFC in December 17th, 2022. So that's the one fight coming up. So yeah, I just don't think Izzy's gonna fight either of them. Even the winner of that fight, I just don't think that's gonna happen. There's another big UFC matchup coming up. Just can't remember who. UFC middleweight matchup, rather, I should say. I think it's Jack Hermanson. Let's see. Let me just Google that. I think it's Jack Hermanson who has a fight coming up next against one of the middleweights, I believe. I know Darren Till is fighting Tricus Duplessis. Yeah, Jack Hermanson is fighting Derek Brunson in December as well. So that's another big middleweight fight coming up. So yeah, I think nah, Easy versus Hermanson. Come on, man, that's a weak ass fight. That's the only fight that I can think of right now for Izzy, other than the title fight, is the yeah. The only fight I can think for Izzy other than the championship rematch against Alex Pereira, it should be the fight against Darren Till if he beats Tricus Duplessis in his next fight. I think it's at UFC 282. Let's just yeah, Tricus Duplessis. I think they're fighting at UFC 282. Let's see. Yep, They're fighting at UFC 282. Darren Till, Dricus Duplessis, UFC 282 is right around the corner as well. If Darren Till wins that fight, then I think Israel Adesanya versus Darren Till is going to be a great matchup because everyone's been wanting to see that fight when Darren Till was like sort of on the rise. Even Izzy went ahead and said that he would be welcome to giving Till a shot at his championship. But yeah, Till had to win first, but he was not really exactly, you know, healthy at the moment. He was facing a lot of injury issues and he wasn't exactly winning fights as well. So yeah, if Darren Till like can go out, put a performance at UFC 282, then I think he has a real shot at facing Israel Adesanya. Like, I just don't say this because I think, first of all, let me just be clear. I think he's going to win that fight, but I just think like this would be the literally the only opportunity UFC will get to book Israel Adesanya versus Darren Till. That's literally the only opportunity. Other than that, I think the first priority for the UFC should be to book the rematch between Izzy and Alex Pereira because I think Izzy deserves a rematch, immediate title shot after holding the middleweight championship for like 3 years in a row. So, but yeah, this would be like the UFC's only opportunity to book Darren Till versus Israel Adesanya. And I think, yeah, it would be the right call because both of them are superstars. I'm pretty sure Darren Till still has a big following. Like leading up to the fight week at UFC 282, I'm pretty sure he's going to get a lot of coverage because let's be honest, he has been absent for quite some time, and people are going to be curious to know what's up with Darren Till lately. What his injury issues were? Is he finally okay? Is he going to fight a lot going forward? This Darren Till I'm talking about. So yeah, if Till somehow manages to pull off a, I should say this upset victory against Dricus Duplessis, then I think him versus Rizal Adesanya is literally the one of the mega big matchups in the middleweight division. Because let's be honest, the middleweight division fights are looking really stale and lame. Because you have Jared Cannonier versus Sean Strickland. Come on, man. You have Jack Hermanson versus Derek Brunson once again. I don't think Hermanson versus Izzy could be a good is going to be a good fight because I don't think it's going to draw much. But yeah, you already had Izzy face Derek Brunson in the past, so yeah. The only non-title rematch, or rather the only fight except Alex Pereira that Izzy could fight is Darren Till if he wins at UFC 282, of course. Because this would be literally be the only opportunity the UFC will get to book Till versus Adesanya, and both of them are superstars. I'm quite sure Darren Till still has a mega following, a big following, especially in the UK, and he's gonna get a lot of love in UFC during UFC 282 fight week. So here's what it is. I just want to see that fight, honestly. And even though I think Izzy wins, I just want to see that fight. Anyway, yeah, like I said, first priority should be Izzy versus excuse me, I said Izzy versus Adesanya. Izzy versus Alex Pereira. Other than that, yeah, I don't really see anything else for Izzy in the middleweight division right now. Oh right, you also have another big matchup at middleweight. Whitaker versus Paulo Costa. Almost forgot about that. Should be Paulo Costa's last fight if he decides to not resign with the UFC. But yeah, once again, nah. I don't want to see Izzy fight Whitaker for the third time, especially in a non-title fight. The only time they should fight again is if Whitaker is the champion and Izzy is coming back for the belt. So that is one of the other options. But yeah, Costa versus I just don't even think Costa's gonna stay with the UFC after his fight against Whitaker. So that's probably not happening. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much yeah. Those are the only options. For Izzy, like he has two proper options: Alex Pereira rematch, Darren Till if he wins at UFC 282. Other than that, nah, none of the fights are really that exciting in the middleweight division. Like that's the problem with the middleweight division's top 10, honestly. Like the top nine, not that great, with the exception of a few. Of course, you have Whitaker, who has lost to Izzy twice. Cannonier is great, but he's in his late 30s right now. Marvin Vittori, unfortunately, he's just a gatekeeper in my opinion. So is Derek Brunson. Sean Strickland, not that great. Sorry to say, but yeah, he's just not championship material. He's gonna get schooled by Izzy, so it doesn't really matter. Um and Darren Till, of course, who has been very inactive lately. Andre Muniz is one of the fighters who has really great potential, but yeah, once again, it's a long way to go for him. Let's see. For Alex Pereira, if he doesn't defend against Izzy next, then of course there is just one option for Alex Pereira. There is just one fight. If he doesn't fight Izzy in the rematch, if the rematch isn't booked next, like an immediate rematch, there is just one option for Alex Pereira. That's against former champion Robert Whittaker if Whittaker beats Paulo Costa when they fight. So yeah, I think it's just probably a little harsh on Whittaker this take, but I just think that Whittaker's only chance of winning the championship is going to be against Alex Pereira, not Israel Adesanya, because he's already lost twice to him, and I just think like Whittaker could give a tough time to someone like Alex Pereira. He's got great wrestling and grappling. That's Whittaker I'm talking about, and he's got great striking as well. Obviously, has to be a little careful while he's fighting a dangerous striker like Alex Pereira. Has to be a little careful on the feet, but in terms of wrestling, Whittaker can do a lot of damage to Pereira. So yeah, the only other option, if not the immediate rematch between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, then Pereira should go ahead and defend his championship against Robert Whittaker if Whittaker beats Paulo Costa. Speaking of that fight, let's just see when that is. Robert Whittaker. Is it early 2023 or later this year? I think it's set for UFC 284. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think Whittaker is winning that. Yeah, it's set for UFC 284 in Australia. So yeah, I think it'll be last. It'll be the last fight for Paulo Costa before he says "fuck you" to the UFC and leaves, unless they give him a better contract, which I'm not sure of. All right, that's pretty much it for the middleweight division discussion. I think because honestly, um, yeah, I've like talked about the two top guys in the middleweight division right now, Izzy and Alex Pereira, for like 45 minutes now. So don't really think and there's anything else to add in other than the fact that Izzy should probably get an immediate title shot or fight Darren Till if he beats Dricus Duplessis, because I think that should be a great fight. And honestly, that's a winnable fight for Izzy. So the UFC are gonna make a lot of money from that as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the middleweight division. I think it's time to switch to the lightweight division for a minute before ending this live stream. Of course, there is the lightweight division. There we go. Of course, we have a new champion that was crowned at the last pay-per-view at UFC 280. Islam Makhachev winning the UFC lightweight championship by beating Charles the Bronx Oliveira in the main event, of course, of UFC 280, winning the vacant championship. Let me just make that clear. All right. Let's see. Top of the UFC's lightweight division, we have Charles Oliveira, of course, who said that he's gonna take a break now. He's not gonna be fighting for quite some time, which I think is absolutely the right call because Oliveira has like fought in three to four big fights in recent years. Starting from 2020, he fought Kevin Lee, which was a big fight. Tony Ferguson, big fight. Then he had the three big fights, like big, actual big fights, well, like, because they were for the championship. Of course, he fought Michael Chandler, beat him to win the vacant title. Then he fought. Was it after that he fought Justin Gaethje? No, it was after that he fought Dustin Poirier, rather. Yeah. So after that he fought Dustin Poirier. That is Charles Oliver I'm talking about. Beat him comprehensively, and of course he just absolutely schooled Justin Gaethje. Sorry to say, but yeah, he literally schooled Justin Gaethje. He was hands down way better than Gaethje on that night when they fought. So yeah, Charles Oliveira I think deserves a break for now. Literally right below him is Dustin Poirier, of course, who is coming off a big win. Now the big question is, the UFC rankings are not updated yet. They will be updated in a few hours, I believe. So will Dustin Poirier overtake Charles Oliveira and become the number one contender? That is a big question because that performance right there. from Dustin Poirier against number 5 Michael Chandler was really impressive. That was a really impressive performance from Dustin Poirier. He went out there, he being a striker, he submitted Michael Chandler, who was literally who hasn't submitted ever before this fight. So yeah, he went out there, made a statement, got the victory in a ridiculously good fight. Like probably one of the best 3 round fights in UFC history, hands down. Could get a shout for the fight of the year as well. Could very well get that. Speaking of Dustin Poirier, all right, let's continue. As I was saying, all right, Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. I did a full breakdown of the first round of their fight because that first round was insane, man. Hands down, round of the year for me. Hands down, no other debate for it because that was the round of the year. Um, Given the back and forth between the two men throughout the entire 5 minutes. Poirier went out there. He got tagged for the first few minutes, like there was this accidental clash of heads, and he found himself on the back foot. He was retrieving. Chandler caught him with two good left hands. Absolutely went swinging like a madman on Dustin Poirier. And so Dustin Poirier was really backing up big time. And that was the only opportunity Michael Chandler had in the first round or like throughout the entire fight to sort of where he was like dominating Dustin Poirier and sort of like had the opportunity to actually win the fight and end the fight there. But Dustin Poirier, man, what an insane chin he has. He is an incredible chin, Dustin Poirier. He answered back quite nicely. Like his chin and his left jab are both insane. He answered back quite nicely with two left jabs, Dustin Poirier, and then